Hey y'all, quick question. How well do you know your major scales? Because we're about to go ham on some do-re-mi's like right about now. Hello friends and neighbors, welcome back to the Brownstone. My name is Rich Brown, hope you're doing very well. Today, we're getting into the subject of major scales. Now I know everyone is very familiar with the major scale. That's cool. But what I wanted to talk about today was a different way to practice major scales that could really come in handy when you're, playing different exercises, playing over changes, practicing songs in all 12 keys, which is very important. All kinds of things like that. So what I really want to get into is the idea of learning different configurations of the major scale. These different configurations of the major scale are based on a very simple idea, and that idea is all about this: the number of notes that you play on the first string of your scale. So from your starting point, everyone knows this 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4 scale pattern, right? So that 2-4 has the first two notes on the E string. So here's what I want to do. I want to change the number of notes. And every time I change the number of notes on my first string, I change the configuration of the scale. And I think this is important because now we're learning these different configurations of the major scale to allow us to play some different changes in a more comfortable way, which is a whole other subject that I'll get into in a future video. But for now, what I want you to do is learn and understand these shapes ultimately as well as you know the old trusty 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4. I want you to be familiar with all of them. So here's the deal. I talked about changing the number of notes on the first string, or the starting point of our scale. So here I'm playing a C major scale. So what I want to do is play a configuration of the C major scale starting with only one note on, in this case, the E string, the 8th fret of the E string, which is C, which means I will be leading with my little finger on the first note of the scale. And then what happens, this becomes this. So I'm thinking of this in terms of like a 4-fret span, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And my little finger, my 4th finger, is on the note C. So that, I'm thinking of that as being 4, right? Because if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, this is how we get our 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4 configuration. I'm using 2nd finger, 4th finger, 1st finger, 2nd finger, 4th finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. 2-4, 1-2-4, 1-3-4. So I'm using this same concept for all of the sort of alternate shapes. I don't even want to think of them as alternate shapes. Just all of these different shapes of the major scale. I want them all to be as accessible and as comfortable as the old 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4. All right? So here, if I lead with my 4th finger, my little finger on C, I get this configuration. I get 4, 1, 3, 4, right? And then on the D string, I'm playing 1, 3, and I skip the 4th fret, I go to the 5th, and then 1 again. See what I mean by that? I'm not talking about the frets themselves. I'm talking about the 4-fret span that I've got happening right under my fingers. So that's 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 1. So the E string is 4, A string is 1, 3, 4, D string is 1, 3, 5, and then the G string is 1. So now we have two shapes of the major scale. But we're not done. We're not done, folks. We're only getting started. The second shape is not really a shape. This is something that you're really going to have to burn into the muscle memory and into your, into the brain. Again, this is a major scale. So a valuable tool at your disposal is your own ear. Now, here's what I want you to do with this next configuration of the scale. We're going to play the ascending and descending C major scale, starting from the same point, 8th fret of the E string. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to play 2 notes on each string. So check this out. Remember the sound of the scale. Everyone knows the sound of the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So think about the sound when you think about these notes. So for this particular formation, we're playing 2 notes on each string. Which means the first 4 notes are the same pattern that we already know, right? 2 notes per string. So 2 notes on the E string, 2 notes on the A string. Now from here, I want 2 notes on the D string. So here I'm going up to the 5th fret of the D string to the 7th fret, and then I play 4th fret of the G to the 5th fret to complete the scale. So, I really dig this formation because it makes you work a little bit. I'll go through the frets again. So I've got 8th fret to 10th fret on the E string, 7th to the 8th fret on the A string, 5th to the 7th fret on the D string, 4th to the 5th fret on the G string. This is a very cool shape because when you start to get into some of the sequential patterns on this particular shape, very cool things can happen. And even though this particular shape is spread out over a large area of the neck, some of the exercises can be super fluid within this shape. Like if I play ascending and descending thirds on this scale, you know the old pattern. If I adapt that to this 2-note per string pattern, I get this really cool movement. I love that. I'm kind of burning through that, but maybe I'll give a deeper explanation of that particular sequence in another video, because I really want to get all these shapes down in one video. So we'll focus on that for now. So now we have 3 shapes of the major scale. We've got one where we play the first note on the E string, and then that's it. 1 note on the first string. And then we have these 2 different shapes for our 2-note on the first string sort of pattern. So the old tried and true, and then 2 notes per string. So now what I want to do, the next shape is going to be 3 notes on the same string. Now, that gives us a different pattern. If I'm thinking of my 4-fret span and thinking about playing the first 3 notes on the E string, then what happens is I've got 1, 3, 5. See what's happening there? So if I have my 4-fret span, that span has to be expanded by 1 fret. So I get 1, 3, 5. And then the A string is exactly the same. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And then here, if I'm thinking of my 4-fret span, the last two notes are going to be 2, 3. If I wanted to follow through and play all of the notes in this particular area, my formation would be 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. So the first two strings are the same and the last two strings are the same. So that just gives me 3 notes per string on all 4 strings, which is a valuable thing to know. If you're playing on a particular scale, you don't want to miss out on, the strings that you might be missing or the notes that you might be missing on a particular string because you've completed the scale to its octave or to the ninth or whatever. The exercise that I'm going to give you to end this is basically going to go from the root to the ninth and then back down to the root. Ultimately, what I want is for you to play that exercise on all of the shapes of the major scale, right? So far, we've got this shape, our trusty shape that we've known for years, 2 notes per string, and 3 notes per string. Isn't that amazing? All the different ways that you can just play a C major scale. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to play a 4-note sequence on each string, right? 4 notes per string on the C major scale. Cool thing about this particular pattern is when you follow through, you get a full 2-octave major scale happening wherever you start. So if I'm starting on C, I'll play the first 4 notes before I move up to the next string. And then it's 4 notes again. And then 4 notes again. And then on the last string, I get to that higher octave, and it's only 3 notes. So let me take you through that. So we've got the first 3 notes. If you remember the previous pattern, we've got 1, 3, 5. Now here's the cool thing about this. I play 1, 3, 5, and then I slide up a semitone from there and play the next note, the 4th of C major, in this case F, with my little finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Intervallically, we're talking about a whole tone, another whole tone, and a semitone. But you see the shape that this creates. Now, if I'm thinking of my 4-fret span, you can see obviously that 4-fret span has to be lengthened or stretched a little bit. So what I get is 1, 3, 5, and I slide up to 6, essentially. Now here's the cool thing. I'm starting that on the 8th fret of the E string. So once I get to here, the 4th note of my scale, the next note is going to be on the 10th fret of the A string. And then what happens is I continue the same sequence. So if I have 1, 3, 5, 6, I go up to the 10th fret and check it out. I play 1, 3, 5, 6 again with that same shape on the string. Because I've got tone, tone, semitone. And then here I've got tone, tone, semitone. So again, 1, 3, 5, 6, 1, 3, 5, 6. And all I'm thinking about here is thinking in terms of that 4-fret span. So first fret of that 4-fret span, 3rd fret, 5th fret, up to the 6th fret. I hope that makes sense. So I just play it twice. Now, moving on to the next string, I have a kind of a different configuration, because what happens here, I'm starting on the 12th fret, I play a tone, I play a semitone, and then I play a tone. So if I'm thinking in terms of that 4-fret span, I've got 1, 3, 4, 6. And then I finish the scale on the G string. In this particular case, I'm playing the 14th fret of the G string, and my 4-fret span has us playing 1, 3, 4. So the entire scale, starting from the C, 8th fret of the E string, using this 4-fret span, there's 1, 3, 5, 6. And then I move up to the 10th fret of the A, play 1, 3, 5, 6 again. 12th fret of the D, 1, 3, 4, 6. And then up to the 14th fret of the G, 1, 3, 4. Hopefully that all makes sense. That was a lot of numbers. But again, your ear is a very valuable tool, and you know the sound of a major scale. So you know when you're hitting the right notes and when you're hitting the wrong notes. So I hope that these explanations make sense using these numbers. But if they don't, use your ear. 4 notes per string, C major scale. You know the sound of that shape. Okay, so those are all the shapes. That's everything that we're going to cover today. But then, here's the exercise. Remember what I said before? We're going to play all of the shapes in succession, one after the other, from the root up to the 9th and then back down. And then we finish with the 2-octave major scale, landing on our high C all the way up there. This is a great exercise. It is the mother of all major scale exercises. Well, the real mother of all exercises would be to play the major scale in all 12 keys. But that's part of the reason why I'm giving you this particular exercise, because if you do plan on playing the major scale in all 12 keys, you have to think about it more. You have to think about it more, because you can't just play like, just take the same shape and then start it on different points of the neck. No, you have to think about what shape makes the most sort of ergonomic sense, you know? That way the exercise can be as expansive or as compact as you want it to be. That'll be another subject for a future video. Major scales, all 12 keys. Very hip exercise. But for now, let's focus on this exercise, playing the different shapes of the major scale, one after the other. So I hope you remember them all. I'm going to go through them, and then that'll be that. So, C major, starting on 8th fret of the E string. First shape just has 1 note on the first string, and then we follow through. Right? So here we have 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 1. And then for the next shape, 2 notes per string. So here, I'll give you the frets again. So E string, 8 to 10, A string, 7 to 8, D string, 5 to 7, G string, 4 to 5. So let's put those two together. third shape is the one that we all know, 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4. The next shape, 3 notes per string. So that's 1-3-5, 1-3-5, 2-3. 1-3-5, 1-3-5, 2-3. And then 5 there. So now let's put all those together. And then the last shape is going to be playing that 2-octave major scale, 4 notes per string, all the way up to the high C on the G string, which gives us this shape. Right? So thinking about that 4-fret span and how that span gets stretched with these different sort of sequences of notes, laid out by the major scale. Again, we have 1, 3, 5, 6, starting on the 8th fret of the E, and then we go to the 10th fret of the A and play 1, 3, 5, 6 again. Then we go to the 12th fret of the D, 1, 3, 4, 6, and then 1, 3, 4. Hope that makes sense. So then we have this scale. So now when we put the entire exercise together, here's what we get. This is what I'm leaving you with. So, first shape, second shape, third shape, which is the one we all know, 3 notes per string, and then 4 notes per string. And that's the entire exercise. I hope that makes sense, y'all. If it doesn't, leave a comment or ask a question in the comment section. I'll see if I can help y'all out. Or, maybe there are other folks who are watching this video who have an understanding of what I'm talking about, and they can help out anyone who might be having some trouble. Let's help each other here, right? That's that, my friends and neighbors. I'm going to leave it there for this week. Another quick video, but a lot of work involved. I hope that's okay. Hey, listen, if you like this lesson, do me a huge favor. Click like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Donate to the channel. I have 2 ways that you can do that. You can click the link in the description box that allows you to give whatever amount you wish to give if you are in a position to do so. And you can join the channel for a mere $5 a month. All of the above helps me out in a huge way, and it is all greatly appreciated. And that's that, friends and neighbors. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have fun with this exercise, and I will see you in the next video. Peace and love.